Hey everybody, me Foxy D. Been a little while, won't get into the details, doesn't really matter. All right, so big shout out to everybody out there who is doing their best, trying hard, and staying true to who they are. Now I'm going to start this video off about love and boundaries. All right, so it's going to be a bit of a series, I guess. I'm going to start by explaining the following. These types of channels attract a ton of narcissists. They like to have fun. I do too. I'll tell you how and why. Okay. The one thing narcissists hate, um, before I get into that, I'm going to just say this. What do vampires hate? They hate the light. They love the dark. Okay. Those are analogies for life, right? Demons, the same thing, right? Even though Lucifer, right? The name Lucifer means light, right? But Lucifer is actually the king of darkness, strangely enough. But there's this big contrast, right? Light and dark and good and evil, etc., etc. Now, to me, like I said, narcissists represent a much higher proportion of the population than we are led to believe. A lot of the studies that are done on narcissistic personality disorder and narcissists are done based on something called self-reported data, all right? So that means you get a questionnaire and you answer it, maybe a scale of 1 to 5. What would you do in this situation or that situation? Now, we know that narcissists are notoriously unself-aware and quite fallacious, all right? When it comes to even their recall, they recall things a certain way. Say you're dealing with a narcissist, say a narcissistic relative or parent, and they were very abusive to you and you call them on it, right? They will have absolutely no recollection of anything that you're talking about. Do they really believe that? Do they not? Personally, that's not my concern whether they believe it or not. They are what they are. They're like a different species as far as I'm concerned, but there are a ton of them around us. Many, many. Okay. So a lot of the data that's amassed about narcissists is weak at best. So a lot of it is self-reported data. A lot of it, what happens is prior to testing a paradigm, they'll prime certain subjects with certain notions. All right. Narcissists tend not to go for any kind of diagnoses. So a lot of the people that are being tested might be narcissistic in certain regards, but aren't necessarily narcissists. All right. So we're not talking about diehard people that are diagnosed with narcissism that go and take these tests and certain variables are measured. So the data is skewed at best, all right? Like I said, a ton of narcissists around and also a ton of cowards in our society and people that are asleep, okay? They'll just go with whatever the group is doing. So here we go. I had done a video a while ago called How to Bully Proof Yourself at Work in these hierarchical type of organizations, government, non-government, corporate organizations, And again, I'm doing these videos, I've learned a lot, and I'm observing a lot as well. So here we go. What tends to happen is a lot of people will take those words and, think that's what I mean. I mean to go in and have a resting bitch face, to, not smile and not be yourself at work. I'm not saying to do that. That's not my real opinion. I'm just giving the facts, okay? If you want to bully-proof yourself in these kind of organizations, that's the way you do it, all right? If you're a little man on the totem pole, you're allowed to smile and you're allowed to be yourself. And by allowed, I put that in quotations, if you're at the higher end, okay? That means if you're in leadership, you're allowed to act in a particular way and own who you are. Now, for those of us, proles or plebs, who love ourselves and love to own who we are, we're hated by the slaves. They don't like us. They don't like us because we don't have our heads down. We don't have the resting bitch face. We're happy. Narcissists hate light. They hate happy. All right? Now, in doing these videos, people tend to willfully misunderstand sometimes. Or I'll get a lot of weird emails from people with a lot of situations that are very cut and dried and simple to handle, but they'll complicate them and they'll ask me all kinds of questions and what would I do, and they feel this affinity. Look, most of those messages, look, I will always give people the benefit of the doubt. If somebody's having a hard time and they want to write, please do. I'll do my best. And is it wasting my time? I don't think so. All right. Even though, like I said, like recently I got a couple of messages that were just so off the mark. It was crazy. But just in case, I'll always give love and light. All right. So the narcissists think they have a leg up or a one up. But the way I look at it is this: if you're going to take the time to write a letter, okay, showing how desperate you are and fake it all the way, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. So you might be looking at me as a subject, but I'm looking at you as a subject. I think it's crazy. And again, would I ever risk it? No, I wouldn't. Mostly, like I said, I'm not here to give advice, but I would just tell people to go seek therapy. Go, go walk through your hell. All right. Go seek therapy. Work on yourself. Understand you. Very, very important. And understand how society works. What the others are all about. Okay. Do I tout that you should walk around with a mask of armor? No. I'm saying you should trust in your instinct. All right. Rise above. Always be who you are. And that way, you could deal with this stuff a lot better. Now, we had talked also a little bit about the whole idea of gang stalking. And you have to understand, in my neighborhood, all right, I've dealt with some things, but I'm not dealing with gang stalking per se myself. I'm just dealing with what people have written to me. A lot of people wanted to talk about neighborhood mobbing. Now, in my neighborhood, it's, I'll say, a working class neighborhood. We have people of all different nationalities and colors. There are not enough people to kind of group up and make little ghettos of their own kind of nationalities and stuff. So we work together. I love my neighbors. I love my neighborhood. And they love me back. We help each other. And that's the beauty sometimes of living in a working class neighborhood. It's very different when you live in suburbia or in, some people were saying it. It was interesting. It was Patrick Schick who said, I think it was Toronto, look, people live in their little enclaves anyhow. They say to make friends with immigrants, and nobody does. All the immigrants stay together in their little enclaves, and that tends to happen in cities too. So I do stand corrected when it comes to that. Now, the fact that I'm not dealing with any kind of gang stalking in my neighborhood doesn't mean I didn't deal with gang stalking otherwise. Where I worked, people had access to a lot of different kinds of information. The type of issues I dealt with were online, all right? Everything from my bank account getting defrauded for a huge amount of money, okay? My credit card, my files being transferred to the cloud, photos being shared. So that was very unpleasant and very difficult to deal with, all right? Especially if you're not a tech type of expert. So I do have my personal experiences, getting certain letters in the mail that were addressed to dead people, all right? And again, the type of organization I worked for had access to a lot of different types of information, and it just is what it is. It's par for the course. Now, was it bothersome? Yeah, of course it's bothersome. Was it frightening at first? Yes. But then no. Once you know who's on the other side of this stuff, what is there to be frightened about? Seriously, own who you are, love who you are, okay? Really engage in that self-love thing. It's super important, all right? And try to, if you don't have buddies or you don't have close family members who love and respect you, well, all I can say is this. If there's something shining in you, you will attract them. They will come to you, all right? Just stay true to who you are. And love and light. When I say boundaries, I'm not talking again about a suit of armor, okay, and not being friends with people. No, boundaries are simple. Like, okay, I'll base it on some of these crazy letters that I've gotten from some people that are definitely narcissists that are looking to try to get a rise out of me, all right? Say, I don't know, you're at work and somebody messes up what you're doing. Do you just sit there like a lump? No, of course not. You're going to look at the person and you're going to say then, don't do this. This is crazy. What are you doing? You have to confront it, right? Or don't ever do that again. You have to put a stop to it. You have to block the behavior, right? And if you can't, and you have to deal with the person as soon as possible. When it's the passive aggressive stuff, like I said, it's a little trickier, but this is why you kind of clock everything down. Clock everything down. You could give the person the benefit of the doubt the first time. Maybe they were yawning halfway through your speech because they were genuinely tired, you know. But your instinct will tell you whether or this is or is not the case. This is why you got to clock all that stuff. So to me, if you're a loving person, you can't hide your love vibration. And I'm not saying to hide your love vibration. I'm saying to own it and embrace it and be proud of who you are. And I'm not touting going to work in these organizations, like I said, and put on your resting bitch face. All right? I'm saying that that is definitely a way to bully-proof yourself in these organizations. What I'm, and who I'm pretty much speaking to, the youngsters especially, all right? If you're young and you have that spirit of love and light, and you love life, and you want to do your best, and you love people, all right? What you got to do is find a type of environment that's good for you. I always tout, this is what I tout. If that's your spirit, you got to work for yourself. You got to be the leader, all right? You got to be the leader, and you can make your own organization, all right? So that's it for now. We're going to get into more technical stuff, but I just wanted to give it a shout out and kind of unblock because I haven't been around for a while. Love, light, peace, respect. Foxy D. Signing off, wishing you all a beautiful day. Take care.